Hey everyone, it's starting to get a little darker now. I wanted to see what the muzzle flash looks like on this 7.5 inch AR-47. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot in two different directions so you guys can get a sense of the flash. So yeah, while I was shooting, I can definitely see that there's a flash there. Now I am using just a standard A2 flash hider on this 7.62 by 3.9, 7.5 inches. Now, one of the interesting things here is that usually with the 5.56 in 7.5 inches, I almost always have to put a linear comp on here because it's like just stupid loud, okay? And even with the linear comp, a lot of times I have to double up on the ear protection. I'll put the cushions plus the earmuffs. With the 7.62 by 3.9, I can use just the A2 flash hider and just earmuffs. I don't have to double up on the ear protection. I'm not wearing the ear cushions on the inside. So the gun is the 7.5 inch in the 7.62 by 3.9 is noticeably quieter. I mean, it's not quiet by any means, but it is quieter than the 5.56. Okay. Now, I mean, I get similar results when I shoot a 300 blackout in 7.5 inches. Main difference is the 300 blackout tends to be a lot more expensive. Okay, so I did a whole video of this, kind of like the introduction to the video, because I had this idea. Hey, let me shoot this as the sun's going down, so we can see what the flash looks like. Now, one of the things worth noting is the optic over here, which has an absolute witness height. Right, it's about 2.5 inches over the bore. One of the interesting things to be aware of is when you're wearing like all this winter gear, right? It can be a little bit harder to get down to the gun, right? So when I get down on the gun, my circle dot, because this has a circle dot, is like near the top. Okay, I mean, I need to really push down to center it. So yeah, it would be a lot more preferable if this was just maybe a 1/4 inch higher. Okay, so instead of getting the instead of having the 2.5 inches height over bore, to have the 2 3/4, which I have on most of my guns. Yeah, when you're wearing winter gear, or just gear in general, right? Like it could be like a plate carrier, whatever. Yeah, slightly higher is a little bit easier to work with. Okay, but anyway, I thought that was worth pointing out and noting that this gun is shooting the 7.5 inch in 7.62 by 3.9 is definitely quieter versus 5.56 in the same barrel length. All right, so I'm gonna now get on with the rest of the video, which I shot earlier. You guys can check it out. Hey everyone, I wanted to add one more important point about the AR-47, the magazines, right? The magazines, the best we can do is get the ASC magazines. Yeah, ASC magazines or the Durmag magazines. These are like, I don't know, aluminum or steel magazines. We cannot get polymer ones, right? We need polymer ones, or we need Lancer to make us some magazines, because what happens with these magazines is if they get dropped on their feed lips, they'll take a slight bend. You're not even going to notice it, and then you're going to have feeding problems. So the problem with the AR-47, okay, is it has the same problem that the Vietnam era AR-15, AR-15s, M16s had with the magazines, right? In fact, one of the reasons why the reliability of the AR-15 was questioned, and I'm going back 15, 20 years ago, was because of the magazines, right? At the time, we didn't know that the problem with the guns was the magazines. We just thought that the guns were faulty. But then when P80 came along and gave us the polymer magazines, it fixed all the problems. So, yeah, it's a great gun, but that's the thing that holds me back from, telling everybody that they should have it and that this would be a great SHTF gun. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and happy January 19, 2025 snow day to y'all. Okay, so today we celebrate Biden's last day as the potato in chief. Okay, so to do that, we're going to shoot this AR-47 with the 7.5-inch barrel, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. So 7.5-inch barrel. You guys are paying attention to the muzzle flash. Also pay attention to the ejection pattern. Okay, the ejection pattern should be at about 4 o'clock. I'll shoot in this direction so you can all see it. Should make it a little bit brighter. Okay. Okay, so that ejection pattern should have been at about 4 o'clock. In fact, I can see the cases over there. So, yes, they were at 4 o'clock. And you can see that there's quite a bit of muzzle flash when you put the 7.62 by 3.9, right? That's the AK-47 round. When you put that round in a 7.5-inch barrel. Now, keep in mind that the cartridge itself is like about almost like 2 inches long. So the bullet only gets about 5 inches of travel. Okay, so that's one of the things that a lot of times when we're talking about barrel length, right? You know, we're usually talking all the way from the end of the muzzle, right, to technically where it touches, like if you put a rod in there, where it touches the bolt face. Okay, I usually go, just because it's pretty close, I usually measure it to the beginning of the ejection port, right? Because that's where the barrel extension is, and it's pretty close. I get a pretty good approximation. But the point there is that 7.5-inch barrel, you only got about 5, maybe 5.5 inches of bullet travel. So first of all, let's talk about accuracy. How accurate is this? So with 5.56, 223, I usually get 4 to 5 inches at 100 yards. Okay, I've tried a bunch of 7.5-inch 5.56 AR pistols. The best I can get is 4 to 5 inches. If you guys have done better, please let me know. Or if you can point me to a video of any other video. Like, I'm curious, is there anybody out there that manufactures 7.5-inch 5.56 ARs, you know, that can get just inside of 2 inches, 1 MOA? I don't know. I haven't seen it. So with the 7.62 by 3.9, okay, stop for a second. Get the tape measure out. I was able to get a 2.5-inch group a few times today at 100 yards. Okay, I think I dropped my pencil away, but it's all right. So I was able to get 2.5 inches. Now this is with steel case ammunition. I believe here I was shooting the Wolf Performance. I did get one that went way out there that opened up the group to like almost 5 inches. However, I normally take the best at 4 out of 5. Okay, that's just to be consistent. I always take 4 out of 5. So the 4 out of 5 here is 2.5 inches. So I'm going to say that one that went way out over there, that I know I didn't pull it that much. That has to be the ammunition, right? That one round, you know, it looks like it was a little hot, okay, and it got a lot more lift. So I was able to do this a few times today. Get 2.5 inches. I mean, I did get a whole bunch of 4-inch groups and 3, but the point is that with 5.56 in a 7.5-inch barrel, I never get 2.5 inches. Like, I could be shooting it all day. I can't get 2.5 inches, okay? I can put like match ammo in there. Can't get 2.5 inches. So with the 7.62 by 3.9 in the 7.5-inch barrel, I was able to get 2.5 inches. Now with the 300 blackout, because I got a 300 blackout in 7.5 inches. Yeah, I think I've been inside of 2 inches. I don't remember how much better I did than 2 inches. But yes, the 300 blackout did do better. However, the 2 problems with the 300 blackout. Put this down. 2 problems with the 300 blackout. Number one, it is a less powerful cartridge. I did a video several weeks back when I had nicer weather, where I was shooting a truck rim at 100 yards. Right when I was shooting the truck rim, the I shot it with an AK-47 in a 6-inch barrel. It penetrated the truck rim. I shot it in a 10-inch barrel. It penetrated the truck rim. When I used a 300 blackout, okay, even with the 16-inch, it could not penetrate the truck rim. So the 10-inch AK-47 with a 7.62 by 3.9 was able to beat the 16-inch 300 blackout. Okay. Now I did also try that test today on that same rim with the 7.5-inch, and no, it could not penetrate the truck rim. But based on what I saw on a 10-inch and a 16-inch, I'm going to bet that this 7.5-inch 7.62 by 3.9 is going to have significantly more power than 300 blackout in the 7.5-inch. I'm waiting for some better weather to basically run it through a chronograph, because in order for my chronograph to work, I pretty much need the sun directly overhead, or almost that overhead. This time of year in January, the sun rarely gets, it doesn't get higher than 30 degrees where I'm at, okay, up here in Northeast PA. So I never get the sun overhead, so I get really bad readings or no readings or false readings. So I just gotta wait until I get into the spring to test it out. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this snow-covered gun. Okay, so this upper, okay, was given to me as a gift by somebody. Okay, so now it didn't have the charging handle. It didn't have the bolt in it, and it was actually the inspiration, or the motivation rather, for me to get my 16-inch AR-47, which I've come to love. Okay, so I'm really glad that this guy gave me this 7.5-inch, because I was gonna just get a bolt for this, and like, you know what? Why just get the bolt? Let me just get the entire upper, because the entire upper was something like $240, right? With the bolt, right? So I'm like, you know what? Let me just get the upper, and then I got like a point of comparison, right? So right now, it's using the bolt that was in the 16-inch, right? And this lower is basically it's a pistol lower that I use for a whole bunch of different other AR pistols. So this upper here doesn't have its own dedicated lower. Not yet. I mean, it has to earn it. Okay, that's how I feel about these things. They have to earn their own lower. So right now it's sharing it. So today when I was shooting this, I'm using this Romeo 4. So this is kind of like a hand-me-down optic. It's basically like one of the older, cheaper ones that somebody is letting me use right now. They basically left it for me to test out and review. It's nice. It's got a circle dot. Okay, so I like having that circle dot, especially if you can get it in an older budget optic. It's digital with the up and downs. But in order for me to get a nice group at 100 yards, right, I have to put a magnifier behind the gun. Okay, so normally, if I'm trying to get the best groups I can, I'll use my Vortex 6X, okay, 6 magnification. However, this red dot, this Romeo 4, sits a little bit lower. So basically, this will give you an absolute co-witness as opposed to the lower 1/3 co-witness. So because it sits a little bit lower, and my Vortex, basically, I've got risers in there so that it sits a little bit higher. Basically, I would have had to get the screwdrivers out and remove the risers. And that's not something I wanted to do today, okay? I didn't want to sit there fiddling with screwdrivers and trying to get the risers out. So I have this this magnifier from Feyachi, okay? Feyachi. It's a variable 1.5 to 5. And I've done a couple of reviews on this. It is a budget magnifier. It's somewhere between $80 to $100. I'll put a link below in case you guys are interested in it. So this is a budget magnifier. And here's the thing, it does have, like I did a review on it, it does have a pretty tight eye box, okay? The eye relief is pretty decent. It's somewhere about 2 inches out. So the up until now I've been using it, I've been like kind of like almost like hyper focused on how good the magnifier is working. Today, I just wanted to get on the gun and basically test the upper, right? So I wasn't so much thinking about the magnifier. I just saw, hey, this is a magnifier that matches up with this red dot, this Romeo 4. So I don't have to put any riser or anything in here. It matches up. I'm like, okay, it goes up to 5 magnification, and I'm like, okay, that's what I'm using. I'm using this thing today. So going into it with the mentality that, hey, I need to get this done. This is the one that fits. This is the one I'm going to use. And basically, I just got on it. It works fine, man. It worked pretty good. I wasn't thinking about all the eye boxes too tight and stuff like that. I mean, I just got on it. I got in position. I took my shots. I did it a whole bunch of times. And it wasn't until like the very end when I was about to do this video and I'm thinking about this and how everything worked out. And I'm like, hey, you know what? This worked out pretty good for me. This magnifier, it was convenient. Worked out pretty good. The only thing that I did find a little annoying is it does have this locking mechanism. So a lot of times you got to keep pressing this button, which sometimes can be a little awkward to get in there, especially when your fingers are frozen. So I do not like the locking mechanism. I just feel that's just unnecessary, right? And because of the locking mechanism, there's no place to put risers, right? Because it would have been nice if this, if you had the ability to put a riser in there to go from, let's say, an absolute co-witness height to a lower 1/3 co-witness height. So with this, that's it. You're done. You're just getting the absolute co-witness. And again, today it worked out fine. It was extremely convenient to have this available. Just throw it on there. It does not have a quick attach, right? So basically, it has this bolt here. So one of the things that was a little annoying is like when I put this on there, I hand tighten it, and then I was looking for like an Allen key or something because there is a little hole over here. I needed to put an Allen key in there just to crank it down a little bit because I saw it was still moving a little bit. So that is a little annoying looking for a key to, tighten this thing down. It would have been a lot nicer if it just had a quick attach. I've said this before, the quick attach needs to be good, all right? If it's not good, they break, okay? So the red dot worked pretty good. The magnifier worked pretty good. All in all, I think that these things are very well matched to the capability of this 7.5-inch 7.62 by 3.9 AR-47 because I mean the thing is shooting like 2.5 inches at 100 yards. Okay, maybe on a day that it's not like freezing and snowing, because it's like 20 degrees right now and it's snowing. It's actually it was actually difficult to see the target. Right, it's actually difficult at 100 yards. Like this thing is, it can be a little difficult to see. What I do here is I put a box here, right? The dot in that Romeo 4, even though they probably advertise it as a 2 MOA, when I put the 3-inch box, it's more of a 3 MOA dot, right? So that's how you can measure the actual size of your dot, like just measure out a box and see if it fits inside of it. Does it fit inside a 2-inch box or does it fit inside a 3-inch box at 100 yards? So that's a 3 MOA dot, regardless what they advertised it at. So I make the box so I can put my circle in there and I can hold on it, right? Because if I just make like a dark bullseye, the 3 MOA dot is going to cover up the whole thing. So this style of a bullseye allows me to hold on it and take accurate shots and see how accurate the gun is. So yeah, doing it in the snow today, oh yeah, ton of fun. But you know what? What else am I going to do, guys? Okay, and plus, again, being that this is, we're finally done with Dementia Joe, right? We're finally done with him, so I had to do some shooting, But yeah, let's get back to the gun. So yeah, this is a fun gun to shoot. This is a fun gun to shoot. I know I got a dark jacket on, so let me hold it out a little bit this way so you guys can see it. Because I guess normally I wear my other jacket so that you guys can see the guns better. However, when it's 20 degrees, man, I got to cover up my legs a little bit, and also what happens is I end up having to wear thinner gloves so that I can manipulate the gun. So what that means is because I'm wearing thinner gloves on my fingers, I need to wear more on the rest of my body because otherwise my fingers freeze up completely. So the way your body works, in case you guys don't know, is it gives priority to your head and chest. And the way it does that, it restricts the blood flow to your fingers and toes because you don't need fingers and toes to live, okay? So the best way to keep your fingers and toes warm is to cover your head up and your chest up, right? Because then it doesn't rush to constrict the blood flow to your fingers and toes. So that's the reason I'm wearing the long, heavy jacket. But the issue with this is that it's harder for you guys to see the gun. I got to hold the gun out like this so you guys can see the gun. But this is a fun gun to shoot. Now, something worth mentioning, right? If you look over here, I just have a regular bird cage. Usually on the 7.5-inch, AR pistols, they're extremely loud, okay? And I usually have to put a linear comp, and a lot of times I still have to double up on the ear protection. So with this, I can with the 7.62x3.9, it is actually quieter to the point where I can use just a standard bird cage, and I don't have to double up on the ears, right? I don't have any cushions in there. I have earmuffs. I can't shoot this with just the little ear cushions. It's still loud, but I don't have to put ear cushions plus earmuffs. I can just shoot with good earmuffs that are tight and create a tight seal. So it is definitely quieter than a 5.56 in 7.5. Okay, so now compared to as far as the muzzle flash, I have to check the videos out. I don't know for sure, but compared to my 16-inch AR-47, there's definitely more felt recoil. I mean, you will feel this thing. It is sharp. Despite the fact that the ejection pattern is at 4 o'clock. That's why I told you guys earlier to look at the ejection pattern, because I don't think there's anything I could do to reduce the felt recoil, because it already has, like, I think a 5.4 ounce buffer weight in there, so it already has a heavier buffer weight, because again, this is a pistol lower that moves around to allow pistol uppers, right? So it already has a 5.4 ounce buffer weight in there. It's already ejecting at like 4 o'clock, so it's not like I'm going to put like an adjustable gas block or something to reduce it anymore, because it's already at 4 o'clock. I got no place to go. I mean, if I reduce the gas even more, it's just going to stop working, okay? So with this thing ejecting at 4 o'clock, I mean, you're definitely going to, you're going to feel that, you're going to feel that recoil compared to my 16-inch AR-47. I mean, that thing is like really light recoil. I mean, that thing is smooth, beautiful. Having done some work now with this and having shot my 16-inch, I'm very interested at some point to get a 10.5 AR-47 in the carbine length, because there's a pistol length. So in a 10.5-inch carbine length might be very pleasant to shoot. I haven't tried one. I got to try that out. I think that's the place to go. Okay, if you're looking for a really nice shooting or smooth shooting, short, like shorter barrel AR-47, 10.5 might be the place to go. This is fun, but it has not earned its own lore yet. Okay, and it has not earned premium optics. Okay, it's still going to be working. It's going to be getting the more budget optics, because I think that's the level that it's at. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. Okay, and hope you're all enjoying Biden's last day in office, and hopefully the next 4 years will be a lot better for us. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. Drop some comments. I'll talk to you all soon.